remember the trade I was taking yesterday while we were shooting the video. I kept on jumping up to attend to the trade, and in fact I took 2 trades yesterday. Just tell about this, quite a good lesson. First trade I used a trailing stop and got stopped out for 20 pips. 20 pips profit, because I'd moved the stop up. We were at about 60 or 70 pips at one stage, but we were trailing the stop and came back to take out the stop loss for a 20 pip profit. The second trade, in fact, lasted 14 hours. So I put that trade on at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and it eventually lasted through to about 7 o'clock at night, in fact. And again, we were using a trailing stop, and I got stopped out for 15 pips loss on that trade. And if you combine that with another trade which I took earlier in the day, where we had a 30 pip loss, so generally it was a losing day of about 40 pips or 45 pips or so. So I just wanted to make a quick lesson here, because a lot of you would be pretty bleak about that, and you say, well, it was a terrible trading day and loss of money and things didn't go according to plan. But in fact, I'm pretty relaxed about it. In fact, I don't have any emotions about this particular day. It wasn't a good day's trading, but it wasn't because of error. It was simply because the markets moved against us. So a losing day, but that's cool. That's part of trading. And when you're doing your own trading, you've got to remember you will have losing days. In fact, you'll often have losing days, but you'll have some pretty good winning days as well. And the thing is to let the market take you out of your stop loss at your planned stop loss area. Don't get stressed about it. And I'm waffling on and on now, but allow for that sort of thing to happen, because if you wake up the next morning and you're all depressed and concerned about your trade and full of anxiety and worried about the money you lost, you're not going to be in the trading game for very long. Excuse me. So you've got to be totally emotionless about the whole thing and just trade it as a probability and numbers on a screen type of thing. And that's the way to trade. So here we are heading back to PE on the road to the airport. It's a beautiful area here in Natal. KwaZulu-Natal it's called now. And we're just going down, I don't know what it's called, it's Fields Hill, I think, something like that.
Yep, that's right.
Into Pinetown area, and then we'll be taking the road off there onto the freeway, onto the N2, and it's about, I don't know, 30 or 40 k's down there towards the airport. And an hour later from then I'll be back in PE. And tomorrow I'm doing the Ironman. I'm doing the Ironman, but not like you might think I'm doing it. It's the World Ironman South African leg tomorrow, but I'm actually riding the motorbike for the cameraman. So this is all pretty good practice. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and take care. Oh, by the way, one more thing. Talking about trading, if I'd held that trade over the weekend, I really would be nervous now, because I'd be in an open position during an unpredictable time in the market. In fact, on the weekends, markets can gap about 100 pips, so the lesson is to get out of the market when you plan to. Don't hold on to losing trades. Don't be stressed. Everything's cool. And Monday, Tuesday, hopefully, we'll make some money. So take care. Might chat to you just when we get to the airport. And say goodbye from the Durban, KwaZulu-Natal Trading Lounge of the Traders Club and Christopher Matthews. Cheers. Well, hi everyone, it's James here, and I just wanted to illustrate something for you. I was travelling in the car on the way back from Durban, which you'll see at the early part of this video. It was me and Chris in the car, and I spoke about the trades that I took on Friday, and I talked about the point of getting out of the market before the weekend due to gaps. Well, let's just have a look at what happened. We got into the market long around here. Let me just get rid of this. We got in around there, long, and the market moved up, and we were in this trade, you can see, for a long time. This was about 14 hours. Then we made a little dip down to this low here. I moved the trailing stop to there, and eventually we got stepped out for about 20 pips, and that's what I discussed in the car in the early part of this video. The other thing I discussed was weekend gaps, and I said although it's pretty rare, if you leave your trades in over the weekend, you might be subject to a gap which moves during the weekend when the brokers aren't open, and when the market opens you'll be taken out at the new price, and that could be 100 or 200 pips further away from your entry, and you'd suffer a large loss. Well, very, very coincidentally, and this doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen is sometimes during what was the G7, but now the G8 meetings, which normally take place over the weekend, and those are weekends when you need to be really careful. Well, look what happened. We went to bed on Friday night, and the price was at 58.20 or thereabouts. The market opened on Sunday night at 56.60, right there. And you can see this enormous gap. Let me just get rid of the... You can see this enormous gap that took place. Market closed at 58.20, opened up on Sunday night, the start of the following week at 56.60. Now, if you work that out, 58.20 down to 57.20 plus another 60 pips, that's a 160 pip gap. Now, if you'd been in the market at 58.20 when the broker opened up his desk on Sunday night, he would take you out immediately, not at your stop loss price if you did have one in, but he would take you out of the trade at 56.60, and you'd incur 160 pip, loss on the trade. So extremely interesting that I should have been talking about it during the video on Friday. I'm now back in Port Elizabeth. It's Wednesday now, and it's interesting how that just happened. Very, very infrequent event, but it can happen. And sometimes, if you're in the market with a highly leveraged position, which you shouldn't be, you'd be taken out with a margin call and your account would be gone. So just a quick lesson on that, and I thought you'd find that interesting. I'm not trying to prove anything here. This is a real live situation, which I spoke about, and now I'm adding this in the following week for you to have a look at. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you again soon.